You've probably heard of Bitcoin, but do you know why it was created? This wasn't just about making digital cash. It was about building a financial system where no single entity has power over your money. The more you learn about Bitcoin's origins, the more you'll question everything about traditional finance. On October 31st, 2008, a message appeared on a cryptography mailing list. The sender called themselves Satoshi Nakamoto and attached a document titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The 9-page PDF described a system for digital transactions without banks. 2 months later, Satoshi released the first Bitcoin software. The code contained a hidden message, a newspaper headline about UK bank bailouts from that same day. This wasn't just a timestamp. It was a reminder of why Bitcoin existed. The name Satoshi Nakamoto gave no clues. No photos, no social media, no personal history. Just this Japanese-sounding name writing in perfect English, with occasional British spellings like color and favor. The writing style suggested academic training in either economics or computer science. Some noted similarities to works by cryptographers like Nick Szabo, who had proposed a similar system called BitGold in 1998. Others pointed to Hal Finney, the first person to receive a Bitcoin transaction. Finney always denied being Satoshi. He passed away in 2014 from ALS, leaving the mystery unsolved. For 2 years, Satoshi communicated with developers through emails and forum posts. They never revealed personal details, only technical ones. In December 2010, they wrote, "I've moved on to other things," when asked about Bitcoin's future. By April 2011, their last email read, "I've moved on to other things. It's in good hands with Gavin and everyone." They handed control to developer Gavin Andresen and disappeared. The 1 million Bitcoins mined from those early blocks, now worth billions, have never moved from Satoshi's wallet. The disappearance served Bitcoin's design better than any public persona could have. Without a leader, no government could pressure or arrest Bitcoin's creator. No company could claim ownership. When developers proposed changes, they had to convince the network, not appeal to authority. This was the point of decentralization, a system where rules came from consensus, not command. Satoshi's Vanishing Act proved Bitcoin could function without its inventor. Suspicions about Satoshi's identity have only grown. In 2014, Newsweek claimed to have found the real Satoshi, a Japanese-American physicist named Dorian Nakamoto. He denied it, saying, "I don't know anything about Bitcoin." Later investigations pointed to Australian computer scientist Craig Wright, who has made unproven claims about being Satoshi. The most plausible theories suggest Satoshi wasn't Japanese at all, but used the name as cover. Japan has no extradition treaty with the US, making legal pressure harder. What matters isn't who Satoshi was, but what Satoshi built. Bitcoin's protocols don't rely on trust in any individual. The software runs on thousands of computers worldwide, maintained by different groups. Changes require a majority agreement from these nodes. By disappearing, Satoshi ensured no single person could claim authority over the system. The code itself became the only rulebook. This was Bitcoin's first demonstration of trustless operation, a network that didn't need its creator to survive. The mystery also created safeguards. Satoshi's unmined Bitcoin stash acts like a forgotten reserve. If those coins ever moved, it could signal compromise or market manipulation. Their dormancy reinforces Bitcoin's scarcity. For all the speculation, Satoshi's greatest trick may have been making their identity irrelevant, proving that in a decentralized system, no individual matters more than the protocol itself. The ghost built the machine, then let it run without ghosts. The US dollar today buys what 4 cents could in 1913. That's the power of inflation. Governments can print more money whenever they choose, diluting the value of every existing dollar. Bitcoin proposed a different approach, a currency with built-in scarcity. Only 21 million will ever exist, coded into its DNA. This makes Bitcoin the first asset that's both digital and truly finite. New Bitcoins enter circulation through mining. Computers compete to solve complex math problems that verify transactions. The winner adds a block to the blockchain and earns freshly minted Bitcoin as reward. In 2009, Each block created 50 BTC. Every 210,000 blocks, about 4 years. The reward halves. It dropped to 25 in 2012, 12.5 in 2016, and 6.25 in 2020. The next halving in 2024 will cut it to 3.125 BTC. This gradual reduction continues until approximately 2140, when the final Bitcoin emerges. The mining difficulty adjusts automatically based on network participation. More miners mean harder problems. Fewer miners mean easier ones. This keeps block production steady at 1 every 10 minutes on average. It also prevents any single entity from flooding the market with new coins. Even if someone controlled 90% of mining power, they couldn't accelerate Bitcoin's release schedule. The protocol enforces scarcity through mathematics, not policy. This fixed supply earns Bitcoin the digital gold comparison. Like gold, it's durable, divisible, and rare. Unlike gold, you can send a millionth of a Bitcoin across the world in minutes for negligible fees. Each BTC splits into 100 million Satoshis, named after Bitcoin's creator, making microtransactions practical. Try buying a cup of coffee with a fraction of a gold bar. The economics of fixed supply play out in real time. As adoption increases but new coins slow, basic scarcity suggests value could rise if demand holds. Early adopters saw this firsthand. Bitcoin traded for less than a cent in 2010 before reaching nearly $70,000 in 2021. But volatility remains extreme. In 2022 alone, it swung between 69,000 and 16,000. Stable government currencies don't fluctuate like this because central banks manage their supply. Bitcoin's supply is unchangeable, making its price purely a function of demand. Skeptics argue 21 million is arbitrary, but the number matters less than the principle, a predictable supply that no one can manipulate. Even if Bitcoin partially replaced gold's $12 trillion market cap, each coin would be worth over $500,000. Of course, that's a giant if. Bitcoin could also fail and become worthless. But for the first time, we have money where the rules can't change because a government needed short-term stimulus. The experiment continues. While central banks created 80% of all US dollars in circulation since 2020, Bitcoin's inflation rate keeps falling, currently around 1.8% annually, dropping to zero by 2140. That's the promise. Money you can't print more of, no matter who asks. Bitcoin proposed a radical idea. Money controlled by users, not governments. 15 years later, it survives despite crashes, bans, and constant skepticism. The experiment isn't finished. Success or failure aside, Bitcoin has already reshaped how we view money's fundamental nature. That may be Satoshi's most lasting impact. If this made you question traditional finance, share your perspective below. For more explorations of disruptive ideas, subscribe. The next financial revolution could already be developing unnoticed. Bitcoin showed what's possible when you remove middlemen from money. Its legacy continues evolving as more people worldwide adopt alternatives to centralized systems. The story is still being written.